Class with Russell Brunson today. Class with Russell Brunson. Mr. Russell Brunson was dropping all sorts of knowledge bombs on class today. There was 35 of us, and all of us were free to ask questions of him, run scenarios by him on our businesses, on what we're up to, and get direct feedback. Now, Russell Brunson's built some amazing businesses, super successful, ton of knowledge, a leader in the direct response marketing space. So having access to that and being able to hang out with somebody of that caliber who is, giving you direct feedback is very powerful. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Listen in. This is going to be a great episode. Okay, I'm back. Part 3. Part 1, I framed a little bit of what the 2CCX is, how I'm loving coaching, really diving in more in my life than ever about coaching and what funnels are, all that sorts of stuff. Part 2 was John Parks and the 4 Facebook campaigns he would do today if he was starting a new venture. So go back and listen to episode 2 of this little series because it's awesome. It's awesome. Like you might already know the information. Maybe it just reminds you, or you might not know it and you'll learn something good. So part 3 now, Russell Brunson. So what can I say? There was 35 of us on the call today, and there he is smiling away, super authentic, super open, little starstruck, all of us, of course, just because we're getting to answer, we're getting to ask legit business questions of someone who is top of their game in this arena. So that's a little bit of the what I would call the starstruckness. I on this call had no questions for him and was just learning, taking it in, being super inspired. There's people doing awesome things, building really cool businesses, getting direct feedback to accelerate the growth of their business. So headlines, like here's a good headline. Really what this one about was what this episode about was, let me just, I'm nervous about this episode. I don't know why. I don't want to blow it. I want to make sure it's all perfect and so super messy action. But I'll get to a couple of specific things he said in a moment. I just really wanted to, just say, hey, like he's giving his experience and we get to play in that arena and it's super fun and ton of fun. I asked him a question on a different call one time, got a great answer. It was actually about my buddy's sunglass company and a strategy for growth and sales. And I threw it by him. He said, oh yeah, that's great. Named some people who were doing like ideas. It was like, have your buddy do it. Get after it. Go execute. And I was like, damn. So that was super fun. Anyway, today, he gave some people some great advice. I want to look through my notes here and see if I can see specific examples. What he did was, so somebody was creating a webinar and he was helping make the results more tangible, like exciting. So one was like, hey, if you're talking to moms who, of a certain type, what's exciting to them is that they can stay in their pajamas. So you could do X, X, and X without even leaving your house and staying in your pajamas. And it clearly was a great headline for that section. So super fun. We're getting all sorts of those little nuggets, little bombs in there. But the way it all started today was he said, hey, challenges are all the rage right now, just in case you're unaware, lots of challenges going on. Like if you're rooting around on the internet, you're going to see a 5-day challenge for this, a 4-day challenge for that, 5-day challenge, get your life together, 4-day challenge, find the relationship of your dreams, 5-day challenge, you know, learn how to eat better, whatever, all sorts of cool 5-day challenges, build a better cake, bake a better cake challenge. Excuse me. And he said, hey, in this space right now, from what he sees, there's a common theme on successful challenges, on successful webinars, on successful sales letters, on successful email campaigns. He said, basically, Russell says, hey, I've got this perfect webinar script and it applies to all of this stuff. So anybody listening, go by .com secrets or root around on the interweb and you can Google perfect webinar script. I'm sure it will show up. But there's 5 components to the perfect webinar script. There's your origin story, which is composed of a bunch of things, but it's one basically how you learned it and earned it, and how this thing you've got is so great, right? This product offering, it's the best thing since sliced bread, and actually, hopefully, you believe it if you're selling it. And then you've got secret 1, which is you address any concerns that somebody would have again towards your vehicle or the product. Secret 2 is an internal false belief, like I can't do it because I'm not smart enough, or who knows, I don't have enough money, blah blah blah. The secret 3 is the external false belief. And that's like, oh, my friends will think I'm crazy for signing up, or things like that. So you knock down all those objections. Day 5 is the stack and the close, where you go, hey, this is what I have to offer you. There's a certain method to do it, but you make your offer to buy. You're like, here, buy my stuff. It's amazing. I just told you how I found it. I told you what it is and how these false beliefs that you have that it won't work. No, that's not true. It will work. And then you're like, and actually you are smart enough to do it. And then you know what? You don't need to worry about your wife because she's going to be so happy when you're making all this money. And then here's the great deal I have for you. So there's those 5 things. And so on a challenge, there's your 5-day challenge, right? Day 1, origin story. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, right? Or if you're doing an email sequence to sell something, it's here's a great way to do it. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 on your 5-day email sequence. And so that was really cool to hear him talk about that and give different examples. And again, this is all common knowledge. You can go find it if you'd like, track it down, .com secrets. You can Google Russell Brunson. He's got all sorts of great commentary. He's got his Marketing Secrets podcast. He's got YouTube channels out there. There's all kinds of disciples out there. Obviously, I'm talking about it. I'm all in. I'm in his coaching group. But he went on to say, hey, the psychology behind it is the same. The perfect webinar is the selling sequence. It's a selling sequence for selling one-to-many. And it's good for all things, for webinars, for VSLs or video sales letters, for email sequences. Again, I already talked about that, but this perfect webinar framework, other people will call it other things in different markets. Other people have different names for it, but Russell's framework, I love the way he talks about it. It resonates with me. So therefore, I'm in the Russell Brunson environment. But the perfect webinar is the framework for one-to-many selling. And I'm all in on this idea. I want to master as well one-to-many selling, and I want to help other people do that. I want to help people, right? I want to help people. So a really cool part today, thank you for listening to that. was he gave some specific examples of like when your webinar isn't working, or the three main reasons why your selling sequence isn't working. He's like, I've looked at thousands of offers, right? And hundreds and thousands of webinars and email sequences and video sales letters and all these things. And he says it comes down to the three main things. First, your offer's no good. Like, your offer's no good. It doesn't matter how great your story is, your offer's no good. And two is that you're teaching too much. You're teaching the tactics, right? The goal of a good sales letter, of a good email sequence, of a good webinar is to inspire somebody to be like, oh my gosh, I need to learn these tactics. Like, you influence their thinking, you change their perspective, which is so powerful. You're like, here's a new perspective, sign up, you'll get the tactics and you can have success. And I love that idea. I love this. I love the stuff that I'm talking about with you right now. I'm all in on it, obviously, because I'm talking about it. And so what happens is, as coaches or as experts or as people trying to sell stuff, oftentimes you can get into teach mode. And he said, so, when you're in teaching mode, either one, the people get overwhelmed, or two, they're like, sweet, I know what to do now. I don't need to buy this product. So if you step into teacher mode, you're overselling, or you're over teaching, and our job is to inspire. So I love that. And number three is the hooks aren't correct. The hooks are no good. So you're whatever you're doing to draw people in, to draw attention to you, are no good. And those are the three main things. That's how we started the conversation today. And we laid out the frameworks, and then we dove into it with people who had created challenges. So we looked at a bunch of challenges. We looked at some webinars. We got to hear great stories of success. Around every twist and turn, we got inspiring nuggets. So again, I hope this was valuable. I just, my coach encouraged me, because I was going on this one day. I just interviewed this woman, Julie. She's amazing. So, but how I met Julie was on one of the group coaching calls, this open classroom, and Julie and I were on one of these calls with Russell, and I was literally telling Julie, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Vince was taking a break. So I'm like, this is insane, Julie. Like, we get to hang out and be like interacting with a billionaire. I don't know if he's a billionaire or not. Dude's worth a ton of money. He's had a ton of success. But I'm like, this is crazy. And she's like, yeah, this is insane, right? Like, we have legitimate FaceTime with the dude who's at the top of his game and open and nice and giving. And it's like, what? It's just so cool. And Vince is like, well, why don't you do a monologue of that experience? Right? Like, what great fodder, what great content. And so that's what led to this. Thanks, Vince. Thanks, Russell. Thanks, Julie. Love to all. Thank you for listening. Hope you found some value here. That is the end of part 3. I think I have pontificated enough. Love to all.